Welcome to everybody. I think we pulled everybody from the chat or who are waiting. So we'll get started. This meeting is being recorded. Um, so if you have to step out or can't make the whole meeting, you'll be able to get the gist. Once we get the link to the video, we'll send that out. Want to start by thanking Alexis Foley from Kuho for joining us today, help us with managing the meeting. I appreciate you, Alexis. And as always, welcome. Um, just a note, I usually put on my on this welcome slide to email me if you have any questions or any feedback. Just a note that my email address has changed. I recently left Emory University in Atlanta and moved to Connecticut. I'm at Yale now. And so if you have any questions or feedback about this committee, I have one more meeting left to chair. And so feel free to send me something, any notes or thoughts you have. It's very close to my Emory email address if you've ever taken it down or used it. But the institution has been updated. So just wanted to make a note about that. But yeah, great group. Looking like we have a good group today. Thank you all for joining. We have a good bit to chat about. So I want to get started. First thing, as we always do, want to talk about our agenda for today. We're gonna ask again about our December meeting. We asked this question in our October meeting and it seemed like it got a good response, but we also want to check in with as many people as possible just to make sure the date that we have is a good date. December and facilities often, it's different for everybody. So we're just going to pose the question again just to kind of get a sense of who's available for that meeting. And so just a preview, it's on December 16th. So if you have to check your calendar to be sure, it's December 16th at 2 p.m. And I'm not sure if I didn't prep Alexis, sorry, about a poll, an official poll, but if we can't get that up, we can easily just do something in the chat, like a yes or sorry, and we'll kind of count those up and see. From October, it was looking pretty good. Um, and so, we just want to make sure with some new people on that may not have been at that meeting that we asked that question. Oh, the poll's up. If you want to join in, seriously, who does know? And then talk about kind of a recap of our November webinar, which I hope a good group of you were able to join us with. And I'll talk about ways that you can get that information when we get to that slide. And then we were planning to have our friends from the conference committee join us. We'll wait and see if they join. I don't see them right now, but they might just not be on my screen right now. But we'll talk about that October conference. And then, as always, we want to end it with kind of what's on your mind. What are some of the things and challenges you are facing at your institutions, and kind of crowdsource thoughts or opinions from your colleagues. So we'll get started. All right. So the poll has been up. It looks like everyone has responded. Thank you. Or no, there's a couple still out there. If you haven't responded yet, you still have time, but it looks overwhelmingly that people are available and would like to meet. So that's great. The poll is closed, but it looks like the clear winner is yes. So we're going to look forward to meeting all of you. That will be my last meeting as chair, and so I will be able to give a heartfelt thank you speech, goodbye, and see you, because I do plan on staying on and active in the committee like previous chairs have. I'm really looking forward to that. And Brandon Chandler, who may be with us, just not on my screen, will be taking over that role. And so, yeah, we're looking forward to it. So yeah, so we will see, I guess I can share these results. We will see you in December. All right. No, we want to just give a quick overview. If you, I'm not sure if anyone here was able to attend that webinar. If you are, if you want to show your hand, your reaction hand up, if you were able to join, just so that others can see if you, anyone who was able to join. It was on university crisis response and how you as housing facilities professionals can get your seat at the table, as well as ways that you can assist in that process. Barry Olson, who's here on the call, was great. Really engaging conversation. Um, were there any thoughts for any of the attendees that any thoughts on that webinar? I'll open it up to anybody who wants to share.
Something I appreciated was a good reminder on like how we're training our staff of how to do different things. It's something that sometimes it can be easy like to be stuck in the like I know how to do this and not always trained down. So that was a good reminder for me, and I really appreciated that from that session.
Thank you, Anastasia. Yeah, it was a great perspective to hear about, reminding staff that in a crisis, when it's happening, there are a lot of things to be thinking of, and kind of like some of those, we touched on it, some of the leadership structures that happen that may change from what a staff member might be used to in the time of crisis. Other thoughts from attendees?
Yeah, I'll just throw out there real quick that uh when I looked back at my note, like what notes did I take during that time, right? Like the Barry shared an amazing resource of like the training resources for housing professionals. So like I definitely that was what I saved. When I look back at my notes real quick, I was like, oh, yep, that's what I grabbed from that. But I thought the discussion around the table was all real good, about that type of thing, because especially for us housing ops folks or facility minded folks, usually we're the ones that are out and about still on campus in a shutdown or having to get to campus or whatever else, right? Because we have to maintain operations. And so a lot of it, I think we all inherently just kind of naturally know and do, or work into our standing operating procedures. But the making sure that we're sharing across the board, whether internally in our department working with another department, but then also across the field, I think is all real helpful. So I think it was a great webinar.
Great, that's great feedback. Thank you. Yeah, I had colleagues from my previous institution join, one of them being my former supervisor, and she was teamsing my team who were also on there who were covering for my vacancy and asking for all this information, where we had it located, and making sure that we were equally prepared now that they don't have a director for the time being. So got them in a little bit of hot water, but I think it worked well. And Bear sharing that resource. Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure everybody had what I shared, what Joel was talking about. It's just a list of links, really talking about places you could go to get additional training. And then my former institution, NC State, actually had a pretty decent landing space for a lot of different resources. So I included that as well. So hopefully it's helpful to you. Let me know if it doesn't open up, but it should. I think I saved it as just a regular document.
Great. And what I'm pulling right now, if you give me 1 second, that should work. I was going to send this out to the online community, which I will still do that. But if you since you're all eager facilities professionals chomping at the bit. I've added the link in the chat for that webinar, so you'll be able to review that video before everybody else, as well as the complimentary resource that Barry sent. So if you weren't able to attend last week, we completely understand. November before Thanksgiving can equally be a busy time for all of you. So save that link somewhere, and when you have more time, review it. And then, as I said, if you also add or download Barry's document, it'll be a great complement to that video. So if you're looking for something when the hall's closed to kind of give yourself some professional development opportunity, that could be a great one. For anyone who attended, or if you're thinking ahead and wondering if we covered that resource, are there other follow-up questions that you had from that webinar that one of the things that we had talked about in the webinar was that we would pull together. We had prepared 5 questions from the panel, but the discussion was so great and the resource and expertise was so great that we actually never got to question number 5. And so our goal is to take the responses from our panelists on question number 5, as well as a review of what we talked about and create an article for the Talking Stick that we can share with the broader community, as it seemed like the topic was of interest for people in housing that were even outside of directly responsible for facilities. So we think there's a lot of great information there in case, like Brendan Chandler brought up, your department or your housing unit may not be the ones responsible for your facilities. And so if you're the person in your department, or colleagues in your department are responsible for coordinating with those groups, because they would be an important part of crisis response, it's some great information for them as well. So were there any thoughts or follow-up questions from the webinar if you were able to attend, or thoughts on what more information you would like when it comes to getting housing facilities to the table during crisis response planning? Right. And so the November webinar was our second webinar hosted by or co-hosted by the Housing Facilities and Services Network. The first one we did was back in July. It was a great conversation we collaborated with the Women in Housing Network on the topic of women in housing facilities, and how to support and recruit staff in that area. And it was a great conversation. Also available, link is available. I'll dig that one up as well so that you have both resources through the online community. But it was our second webinar for the network, which was our goal at the beginning of the year, was to host 2 of those. So thanks to everyone who was involved in identifying those topics, and then supporting the network by joining and watching those webinars. But we're always looking towards the future for other potential topics that are relevant to all of you. Are there any thoughts right now on topics that you would like to see for future webinars? Because likely it's going to be the goal of the network going forward to make sure that we are hosting and collaborating with groups across the housing field in order to provide opportunities for all of us to connect, to share knowledge, and to learn from one another. So any thoughts on future webinar topics?
Ray, this is Barry. Would topics be in the area of construction methodology or anything like that be of interest to folks? How we're putting buildings up, different ways of delivering projects. Is that helpful? Because we could bring in some, I guess, some more industry voices that could help not to sell their product or company, but really talk about how did we get this product idea across the finish line? Because I think a lot of times we get held up in oh, it's so complicated and so daunting, and it is to a degree. But I think if you know what those options are to you, then I guess that enhances your toolbox when you're talking to your folks on campus. If that's the case, I think Ray, I could absolutely line up a couple of people to kind of help come in, and maybe it's a constructor and an architect that really just come in and just give a 30-minute, this is how you put something up, and this is how you could deliver it.
Yeah, thoughts on that from anyone on the call? See a lot of head shaking.
Okay.
Appreciate that. Thumbsing up. Yeah, and I think it's actually also been, we had a discussion, I can't remember which month, but I'm pretty sure it was in the spring, where that topic did come up when we initially polled the group for options that we were going to do. So I think that'd be really great, Barry.
Okay.
Seems like it's something of interest, especially when, the need, I'm sure, is great on a lot of campuses, and the need to justify and tell your story when it comes to getting as much money as you can for projects of those size, I'm sure is an important part of that process. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, I saw a positive. I didn't see anybody giving me a thumbs down or get the hell out of the room, so that feels good. I can line up somebody and we can get. I'll shoot for like a 20-minute-ish presentation with additional follow-up, so that maybe takes up no more than half the meeting, if that's fair.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
That's great. Yeah, everyone is in big favor.
Okay.
Any other thoughts? And you can share these in the chat too. I
Yeah,
always
please.
say, like, if you're not unmute yourself and say something. I totally get it. But if you have thoughts in the chat or thoughts on future webinars, we're happy to take those from the chat as well.
Yeah, Kevin Baker here, VCU. I thinking about how you're spending maybe a fund balance and doing mechanical projects versus buying all the new furniture we need. That's been something that furniture keeps getting kicked down the road, and even coming up with a plan of when you're going to replace furniture versus boilers, water tanks, and all that good stuff. That would be cool to hear about.
Absolutely. And we have a lot of really great partnerships with companies that really support our association and our field consistently in that furniture industry, and I'm sure we be able to do the same thing, getting information without being getting a sales pitch from.
Yeah, and especially if the universities have strategies of how they're splitting their money in that strategy of feels like here at VCU, we either go all furniture or all behind the scenes stuff. And it's been post COVID, it's definitely been going towards all behind the scene items and mechanical equipment.
Yeah. Yeah, that's I think that was a place we were at as well, because as as an institute, as my former position, uh, the facilities spending, the money on the facility spending and projects were really driven by our campus partners in central facilities who provide that service. And so we had to fight, not fight. I mean, it was definitely a collaboration where we told our story on why it was important to balance all of those mechanical, structural projects with things that impacted student experience and resident retention. And so it's absolutely a topic that a lot of the people that have come in and out these calls I've talked about. So it's definitely a good topic for either a future meeting or a future webinar for sure. Thank you, Kevin. Yeah. Thank you, Terry, for dropping a year's worth of meeting topics and webinar potential. This looks great.
Chat makes everything easier. So
Good to know. Good to know. Hey, Brandon, I saw Brandon join the chat.
I am here.
Yeah, I mentioned your name at least 3 times, so I wanted to call that out in case people like haven't met you yet. Brandon was one of our panelists, so when you get to the video, you'll see him, and he's also the 2026 chair of this committee. And after towards the end of our next meeting in December, we'll do the ceremonial handing off of the baton.
I might have to come up to Yale, Ray, just to do it in person. That can't do that electronically.
Yeah, take the train. Take the train up. I'll pick you up at the station.
I like it. I like it.
All right. Our next topic is follow-up from the October conference. I know someone from the conference was going to try to join. I just don't know. So I'm going to be mute and see if they're here, and I just don't see them on my screen. Is anyone here from the committee that is prepared to speak on it? Not, I'll try my best. Or maybe Alexis might know, be able to fill in some of those blanks. Not seeing them. I'll just keep going. All right. So first and foremost, the October conference has a conference committee, and it has a chair and it has a essentially a chair in waiting. And in the past, the chair is focused on, if I'm correct, kind of organizing their part. As you all know, in the most previous years, the conference has been a shared topical conference where facilities no longer has a standalone conference. And so now all 3 of those conferences have come together. And so the committee, the chair focuses on kind of overall arching structure of the conference and the programming, and then the chair-elect or the chair that would be the following year really focuses on the programming side, the program proposal accepting side of it. So kind of making sure the submissions are coming through, and then the programming is going to match the interest of those who are in attendance. So once the conference is done, the kind of transfer of leadership happens. So Allison Fox from Tulane was the previous organizer of the conference. So first off, big thank you and shout out to Allison. Allison is a long-standing friend of the pod. She unfortunately isn't able to join our meeting time this year because of a standing meeting that conflicts. But she's always been a great contributor in the field, and we appreciate everything she did for the conference this past year, and then the years prior. Her involvement in housing facilities has been phenomenal. So this October, I wasn't able to attend this year's conference in October, but was anyone here by show of hands or nod or reaction in any way able to attend? All right, great. Great. It was in St. Louis, right? So if you like St. Louis, never been, Arch, the Golden Arch or whatever it is, the Great Arch. I heard great things about the conference right after. But anyone want to share their thoughts on how this year's conference went?
I think I saw your hand, Terry and Janice. Was it your first one also, or have you been to other Kuhuai events before?
So it wasn't my first one. I got into facilities in 2019 on the HRL side. I'm FM proper, but I've been to every one that's we've had since 2019.
That's
Great time to get into facilities right before COVID. I'm hoping that worked out well for you.
great.
Just as well as everyone else, yeah.
Yeah, most of us are still not ready to talk about it.
So I went, and it's my first one in a very long time.
Okay.
And I also participated with the committee, planning committee a bit. And so we had our kind of recap, and one thing that I noticed and I think was also brought up there was, some of the kind of room arrangements were I guess at times there were a lot more people who wanted to be in a session than we had room for. So, just continuing to navigate that. I thought that there were a lot of really good topics, interesting topics, and especially on the facility side, I felt like that was the strongest portion, but that may just be from an interest perspective too. But no, it was really good to connect with people. I think, always with conferences, just the organic conversation is as, good as some of the sessions sometimes. So I think it gave us, with the lunches and just some time that we had to kind of sit with others, it gave us a lot of opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and I know the committee, there were a lot of people who, because of the kind of financial strain at a lot of institutions, decisions were made to pull back. I personally got impacted by that. Was not able to do the two sessions I had planned to, one of them being a shared presentation. And the committee did such a great job, and people in this room like Brandon and Barry identifying people and picking up some of those responsibilities to get great programming out there. So kudos to everyone who was able to shift and make it such a great conference. I have heard a lot of positive feedback about it. Looking ahead, which is one thing we want to get in as early as we possibly can and start talking about our next conference. The October 2026 conference is going to be October 26th through the 29th in Minneapolis, Minnesota. So if you're aware of Minneapolis, Minnesota, that time of the year is like the tropics. So enjoy, bring your sunscreen because it's going to be the best possible vacation location you could ever meet. I personally, I love Minneapolis. It's a beautiful city, great downtown area. Yes, Mark. I see your hand raised. Oh, sorry, I can't hear you for some reason. You're not on mute, but can anyone else hear Mark? Sorry, Mark.
I think he's going to type it.
Okay, got it.
While Mark types his question, I'll give Ray a break for a minute. I think one of the things that our Kuhoai friends would definitely like to obviously encourage, even before Minneapolis comes in October, typically there's a small group, a good sized group of us that still go to the main campus home live in June, July-ish. This year is in Orlando, so if you're not really feeling the Minneapolis tropical breeze in October, maybe you'll feel better about Orlando in the really chilly months of June and July. Um, but I do know one of the challenges is always getting facilities and operations presenters to break away from campus and make time to attend and present, specifically on the presentation side in the middle of summer when we have absolutely nothing to do. So, if some of you could, consider that. I know presenting is always a daunting challenge, and I tell people all the time, it's how do I just get my brain to tell other people things that I just intrinsically know every day or I do? And do people find value in that? But then when we get on the meetings and we talk to each other, there's clearly inherent value that we're sharing with each other. Now we just need to do it with a couple thousand of our friends. So if you can financially, budgetarily afford to make it to Orlando, and if you've got a great idea for a presentation and you need a Robin to your Batman or a Alfred to your Batman, please reach out to the network here or let me know. I'm always willing, like Barry just said, I'm always willing to be a sidekick, take an idea that you have and help you blow it up and make it something cool. Or just stand there and ask you questions and make you seem like the smartest person in the room. But, just to get a game plan together for both the summertime for Campus Home Live and also for our more dedicated experience in October. So.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brandon. And it's absolutely for a lot of us, our institutions, in order to make those decisions about traveling, some of them might require that you're presenting or playing some significant role. And so, like Brandon and Barry have already chimed in and said, also very much someone who's willing to partner up. We can talk in the next some of the following network meetings, I'm sure, will include conversations about things that we're either very knowledgeable about or interested or passionate about that we could partner together. So I'm sure we'll find a lot of time in the coming meetings to have those conversations, which brings me to the next point. And then I'll circle back around to just share some things about what Mark shared from the committee. But so in the future, one of the things the committee would like to do, which the leadership expressed to us, was kind of come in and have time on the agenda of this meeting to collaborate on things like sessions, interests in proposals, and kind of the process stuff. And so this November meeting was going to be about coming in and reviewing October. And then in the following, some of the following meetings that they discuss in the spring, through the summer would be just a different cadence of bringing up different aspects of the conference and how this group, which is a strong and mighty group, would be able to be a factor in the development of and success of that conference. And so instead of kind of what they do amongst the committee, it was kind of the idea being that they would collaborate with this group in its current format to be able to strengthen thoughts, because we've been very lucky on this in this forum to get great participation from East Coast, Central, Mountain, West Coast, and even global participation. And so we've been very lucky to get a broad range of voices from the field. And so we're excited to take that opportunity, or they're excited to take that opportunity and grow with that. So that's some of the things that they're looking forward to. And so yeah, and so as Mark said, feedback was really great from the conference, especially the roundtable sessions. I'm sure all of you, because it almost feels like this is a roundtable format, get a lot of good information and conversation out of that kind of format. And so it looks like that was great. Great discussions on mold, move-ins, summer turns, things that are always pressing to so many of us. Turnaround table was especially helpful. That's good to know. It's one of the most important processes we have, and someone's always doing something cool and innovative that is great to know. So hopefully, for those who weren't able to attend the conference, the people who presented on that information are looking for ways to get that shared. Desire for more organic growth sessions. We all know what that means. The front desk sessions had lots of attendees. So great. Thank you, Mark, for providing that. Exactly what mold. Caleb Lee is the committee chair from Kennesaw State University in Georgia, and Tyler Matson is the chair-elect. And Mark currently serves on the chair. So thank you for being with us today, Mark. Appreciate it.
They still want to know more about mold. What in the world? Okay.
Yeah. I mean, how to get rid of it permanently, probably.
Reduce humidity, find your leaks, walk your buildings, maintain your HVAC systems. That's the top four right there.
Yeah, I think HVAC plays a huge. We had a complex that was a consistent issue, and the minute we started changing out units, it almost cleared up overnight. It was amazing.
Yeah. We've had some cool sessions. I don't know if it's happened at Akuho'ai, but the alphabet soup can be daunting in higher education. But it may have been an Akubo session that I went to, or might have been something with APA, where they talked about post opening commissioning of buildings. But you can commission a building anytime you want. You don't have to do it pre-opening or right after you've built something new. You can stop right today and do, an assessment on a facility and how well the mechanicals are working. You may have gotten a building where the HVAC was designed for environmental conditions that don't match what you're actually operating in currently. Things are getting hotter, moister in certain areas of the country, and the answer in some cases may be the equipment is undersized. It just can't pull enough moisture out of the air. And you can do anything you want, that small level, you're never going to get to that point if the issue's on the roof. So you got to know when to throw in the towel and seek some additional help. And whether you need an engineering study or, to get a third party assessment and have someone else come in and tell you, hey, you've got every window closed, there's no water leaks, all your pipes are wrapped properly, your chiller's running optimally. Maybe it's just the units are undersized and you need to do something different, or something the system as builts are not telling you that there's lines that you're not catching that are not getting cleaned. But sorry, that's a presentation in itself. See how easily it happens, guys?
Yeah. 2026 is gonna be a great year. There's gonna be a lot of knowledge sharing. I can tell you that. All right.
DIY kits for testing. Yeah.
All
That would
right.
be a good conversation to have, with maybe can throw that on the end of another future meeting. But what is everybody's, there's the mechanical side of responding to mold, and then there's the student customer service, parental, de-escalation side. And I actually would be kind of curious what everybody's front of house response looks like as far as how you are dealing with mold requests, mold testing requests, and things like that. And are you using campus resources? Are you just telling them to, trust us and believe we've got it, or are you doing something else? I'd like to know what everybody's response protocols are. So keep that on deck.
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be a great topic. It'd take us a lot of time discussing that and sharing resources, hopefully. I know we have certain stock, emails ready to go when we find out about issues. So it could be a great topic for a future conversation. So next, we have everybody's favorite section, what's on your mind. This is an opportunity for all of you to, crowdsource information from the group. A lot of great expertise here, a lot of great institutions being represented by professionals here. So I'll leave the floor open to all of you.
I guarantee you, if you all are quiet, I'm always going to say something. So I'll go first. I was literally late for this meeting because we were connecting with some colleagues here on the East Coast about um, P3 housing development. Um, so, thinking from a facilities lens, you know, how are any of you, my role is beyond just facilities, and I know like Barry and a few others, some of us have roles that are more chief housing officer, senior housing officer type of roles or beyond. But, even for those of us with just facilities, how do you all advise your leadership teams, whether it's just housing or whether it's business services, real estate? If you're acquiring a property, if you're going to build new construction, how do people approach you for information on what should be included, what should not be included? And I will take silence to mean that no one asks you anything, which is the wrong answer.
So I think it really depends, right? I think that if you're having to give your input or your opinion when we're trying to, like when we're already into the design side, then I think we're already behind the curve.
Right.
So we make sure on our end that the university design guidelines are heavily updated and are maintained with housing specific requirements for consistency in products. Yeah, we just work really well as a team to make sure that that actual dang, I am like running without coffee today, so I apologize. But that document stays up to date with the best practices and what we need in each space for mechanical systems, appliances across the board.
And they actually engage with you when they go to update that document.
100%.
Well,
But
that's a good start right there.
I'm not housing. I'm not on the HRL side. I
Okay.
am FM proper. And
Gotcha.
so
Okay.
I manage operationally for all of our HRL portfolio for UVA. So I think I have a little bit of a leg up, but I do provide that document to Chris, who's my peer at HRL, their director of operations, to make sure that we're aligned on what makes sense, should be there for everyone, kind of thing. And
Hi,
P3s
everybody.
aren't great. So
Hi, everybody. How are you? Good?
Yes, welcome.
Yes.
Fun.
Yes, I heard that Mr. Brandon mentioned something regarding the mold in housing.
Yep.
So our housing is in UAE, and there is a lot of humidity issues in the UAE. So we are facing mold issue as well in our rooms and dorms, and it's spreading everywhere. And I thought that maybe this one's on the issue is only with us here. I never thought that everybody have the same issue.
No, I
No.
just came from Atlanta, Georgia, one of the most humid, most sporific place in outside of Florida, actually. So we have probably a lot of us on this call have had a lot of experience with that. Any comments following that? Or any questions you had about anything specific on that topic?
Unfortunately, we trying to clean. We had the subcontractor coming and checking the rooms, and they install humidity devices inside the room, but it doesn't prevent the mold from spreading. It's spreading very fast, and it's also affecting the student health. this what we have issue in the dorm. We thought that we are the only one, but يعني we're trying so hard, and it's been like maybe 3 years. And we purchased an anti-mold paint, and we painted some rooms with anti-mold. It's also affecting the furniture. Yani when we painted it with anti-mold in the walls, it's appeared in the beds, the bed parts inside, as white colors, as green colors. And we raised the request to the management, to the maintenance team, and they are doing dot cleaning and installing humidifiers, but it doesn't seem that it spread the mold. It doesn't seem that it stopped the mold.
So one of the things I'll tell you in advance is, to think of yourself, like if you end up at one of the conferences, you shouldn't even talk to Ray with his knowledge of Atlanta. The UAE, longitudinally, latitude, you're like Miami. So if I was to talk to a University of Florida, University of Miami staff member or facilities member, hopefully your building design is like the best of what Florida has to offer as far as how tight they are. I probably wouldn't even have operable windows at a certain point because once you get behind on moisture control, it's so hard to catch up if your HVAC systems aren't designed for it. But I think that is, if I'm hearing how severe and how pervasive the problem is, it's likely system. I can't talk either, Terry. It's spreading. It's likely systemic. Your units are probably not designed for the climate that you have, or we get buildings in the U.S. We use a term called value engineering, where developers and builders are cut corners here and there to save on cost and pass that long-term chasing cost on to people on this call. And that may be what you got is, yeah, you got air conditioning and people can stay relatively comfortable, but you can't get your humidity down below 50% consistently. And if you can't, you're going to have a hard time recovering from mold.
Yeah. And, the University of Miami housing website actually has a lot of really great information and resources on how their process works, and some information that we actually did look at what they had and replicated some of that because of some of the things we were experiencing. So, like Brendan said, if you're looking for good institutions and resources that have some good processes in place and knowledge about that's one good institution. Also, you may be experiencing some user ends, when it comes to dehumidifying the rooms with the equipment that you have there. Students might be, not letting it run long enough, or it just may not be functioning as it was designed to function if they have the ability to control that. That was one thing we ran into a lot. Almost 50% of our issues were based on something the occupant did, whether that's blocking their vent because the other roommates in the apartment wanted it colder, and so it was restricting airflow in that one space, or whether it was a cleanliness issue, the students weren't maintaining their space as they were expected to, or sometimes we found the turn wasn't as successful in getting to some areas that kept getting missed. So yeah, it's really hard once you start getting into it. You might find that there are a wealth of reasons why this issue is becoming prevalent in multiple rooms.
The maintenance team said that it's better to close the windows. So we have all of the rooms at the new dorms at our site. The window is closed with window rubber, and also they are locking the AC thermostat, preventing the student to turn off the AC or decreasing the temperature, which is causing severe headache for us because the student parents and their guardian are contacting us at 4 a.m., 5 a.m., insisting that their daughters cannot stay inside the room and expecting their help. And we have a lot of headaches from this.
Yeah, I see a lot of head shaking because I think a lot of us have been exactly where you are when it comes to that issue. At my previous institution, we tried to educate, parents and students equally when it comes to the source of mold growth and kind of what mold growth is. A lot of people think that the units create it, and it's like their air conditioning units blowing mold everywhere. And that's not the case. And so one of the best ways to guard against in the past that I have found against mold headaches and other organic issues is educating myself as much as I can on what mold is, how it grows, and what our systems do or could be doing to fight against that growth. Good luck. A lot of us here sympathize and empathize with you and your position.
Maybe I missed it, but what type of air conditioning unit do you have in the space?
It's central air conditioning, but the maintenance team did a trial test. They replaced the central with the split unit AC. The airflow in the room, you feel like it's normal, but there is still mold issues inside. So when you enter the room with half mold in it, you feel like the room is suffocating and you cannot breathe. You feel like that inside the room. And there is a smell inside the room, smell of mold.
Yeah.
So you're feeling a lot of humidity in the room, like it feels like the air feels heavy.
Yes, and if you increase the temperature, the floor and the furniture become wet water.
So you're changing the dew point. Yeah, that's rough. Without knowing like what type of unit you have, like you could be short cycling where you're not you're meeting your temperature threshold that you're asking for too quickly, so the unit isn't being able to pull any of that moisture out of the space. If you have a building automations team, you can work with them to you basically heat the space up, and you'll be able to pull some of the moisture out of there too. Kind of hard to talk through without knowing specifics for the system side, but good luck. And I'll put my email in the text or in the chat if you want to reach out to me by email, and I can hook up with our BAS team here too and try and get you some more information.
Okay.
Thank you, Terry. Joel puts a question in the chat. We're getting close to the end, so I'll read it and ask if you can also throw your email in there, Joel, for direct contact. Does anyone have experience working with these companies for cleaning services, ABM, HES, and SSC? If you do, I think Joel would appreciate it if you give him a call.
Yeah, Ray, thanks for throwing that out there. Really, and I should have prefaced in my questioning. Professionally, I've worked with ABM for at least 10 years now at two different institutions. So I am pretty familiar with ABM. It is the other two companies. Our campus has put our cleaning contract out to bid. I went and sat in a couple presentations from each of those three groups. Those three companies were the top three, is where our procurement avenue was going. And so the was just crowdsourcing other thoughts for folks out there. So I'm seeing the messages, so that is helpful. But I will throw my email out there if you have an affinity or oh no, don't go, don't drink the Kool-Aid, whatever, I'll take any and all feedback as we are working through the evaluation process on our end. And it's I've set in a million different sales pitches, and that's all these presentations are, right? They're a sales pitch. But sometimes it's nice to crowdsource what other folks are having or seeing out there from some of these companies. So
Great. Thanks all. Lori put a question in the chat. Lori, we're almost at our end time, so my recommendation, you have a great question there. It might be something you want to pose out to the online community. The facilities online community, you can join that through the Akuhoi website. It's a great way to send your questions and your thoughts to many people throughout the field who aren't able to be here today. Sorry, we're running out of time. If you are able to join us next week, we might have time to put that question back out or any other questions we weren't able to get to. Great conversation today, a lot on the docket, so I appreciate everyone's engagement. Like I said, our next meeting is going to be December 16th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, where I look forward to seeing all of you. So thank you all. Thanks, Paul, for joining us. Always give Paul a shout out. Thank you for joining us in retirement, as always. Great to see you.
Good
We
to
got to
see
get
you.
a Paul session on the books too of what does it look like to retire and what are you doing with yourself? Because you got to
We're
keep
all,
the dream
we're
alive.
all jealous.
I collectively do that.
Thanks, everybody.
Hey.
We'll talk about retirement next week or next week.
There you go.
It'll be a great end of year gift for everybody.
Right.
Thanks, everybody.
See ya.